What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. We are here on Wednesday, just kind of waiting for this injury report, right? Waiting for the Seahawks to put out their injury report, their practice report. We need to know these things. We need to know what's going on with these players. That's what we're waiting for right now. But in the meantime, it's quiet, right? It's Wednesday. Wednesday's probably the quietest day of the week for football news until you get that first practice report. And obviously, we know that the practice report, the first one, tends to be exaggerated. A lot of players sitting out just because it's Wednesday. A lot of players sitting out because they're old. But while we're waiting for that, I thought now would be a good time to talk a little bit about the Seahawks next year. And I mostly mean that in terms of finances, right? In terms of money. Because I feel like some people aren't getting this. I feel like some people don't totally understand exactly what we're talking about here when we talk about the Seahawks' financial situation going into 2025. And I want to go over this and make sure that it's understood what we're facing next offseason and why it is so important that the Seahawks think about this when they make their decisions right now. Because I see a lot of people talking about how, oh, we should trade for this guy. We should trade for that guy. We should sign this guy. We should sign that guy. We should sign these guys. We should do this. We should do that. And I'm not against any of that, but we got to understand what we might be giving up in the process because it's not just money. It's not just a draft pick. It might be a very valuable player. So we're going to take a look at some numbers today, but before we do, I want to say I hope you like this video. If you do, please click the like button down below. Helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. Okay. So, what we are looking at on screen right now here is Spotrac. I don't like the new redesign very much, but whatever. We're going to go with it. They have the best data, to my knowledge. And here's the thing that I want to highlight on this page, okay? As of right now, going into next year, the Seahawks have basically no cap space. Officially $8.8 million rounded up. Call it 8.8. And I'm telling you right now, that's going to be completely wiped out by the draft and UDFA and practice squad probably pushes you over alone. All right, that's nothing. That's a very small amount of money to work with as an NFL team headed into the offseason. Not the final part of the offseason, but the full offseason. And there's plenty of stuff they can do to create more cap space, of course. And I'm sure they're going to explore all that stuff. But let's move beyond that. Let's understand that they are going to do things to free up cap space. They're going to make a decision with somebody like a Geno Smith. A guy like a Tyler Lockett might retire or get extended or traded or let go. Whatever. Something's going to happen with Lockett, right? We might see some restructures of a guy like a Leonard Williams. Draymond Jones is probably gone. Obviously, there's plenty the team can do to create cap space, but let's take a look at what is in front of us. Just in terms of potential outgoing free agents. This is a full list of players, according to Spotrac, that are free agents next offseason. Next March, their contracts expire. Right here. And you got to consider, who are you keeping? Who are you trying to keep? And how much is it going to cost? Right? Let's look at this list. You got Jerome Baker, Jaron Reed, Tyrell Dodson, Connor Williams, Pharaoh Brown, Jonathan Hankins, Kayvon Wallace, Travis Gibson, Laviska Shenault, Laken Tomlinson, Trey Brown, Miles Adams, Brady Russell, Stone Forsythe. Those guys all have their contracts expiring. All right. So to quickly go down the list here, I think that, Jaron Reed, he's going to be turning 33 in the middle of the season next year. That's not a guy we're going to be looking to bring back for anything more than a minimal deal. And honestly, he might retire. Like Jaron Reed might just call it quits. He's getting up there in age. He's got a lot of miles on him. But that's not a big consideration. As long as Connor Williams starts playing better by the end of the year and looks like his old self, I think you can kiss him goodbye. So I'm just kind of dismissing that one. Pharaoh Brown, take or leave, whatever. Jonathan Hankins, he's also kind of getting close to the pseudo-retirement age. Wouldn't surprise me if we brought him back for minimal money. Wouldn't be surprised if we let him go. Kayvon Wallace, Travis Gibson, guys like Shenault, you can take or leave them. They're not going to cost that much. Tomlinson, Obviously, not going to be a lot of interest in bringing him back because he's so old and not playing that well. Trey Brown, I think you can forget about it. I think he's going to get some money this offseason, and you can't afford another corner when you're already going to pay Witherspoon and potentially Woolen a ton of money in the next couple years. And then you've got Adams, Russell, Forsythe. Like, that's whatever. Okay, those guys, if you keep them, they're going to cost very little. Either way, it doesn't matter that much. But, Jerome Baker, right? Tyrell Dodson. You're going to really want to try to keep at least one of those guys. I know that. I'm a little bit more of a Dodson guy. Healthier, younger. But what is Dodson going to cost? What are we talking about in terms of a contract for Tyrell Dodson? We only got him for cheap this year because he had only done it for half a season. But if he plays the way that he's been playing for the rest of the year, he's going to get significant linebacker money. And there are only like 3 or 4 linebackers at any given point in the NFL who really get paid. He has a chance of being one of those 3 or 4 guys. And I don't know if he's going to be able to pull like the 20 mil a year that the top of the top guys get. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's pulling like 17, 18 million if he's playing like this for the rest of the year. Because to a lot of people, what happened last year didn't really mean that much. Because it was half a season in a really good defensive system in Buffalo. Now he's left Buffalo, gone to Seattle, and is replicating that success. Tyrell Dodson could be a big-time moneymaker. So that alone could cost you a big chunk of your cap space if you decide to pursue. Now, Jerome Baker, the injuries are definitely going to hold him back. But we knew he was injury-prone when we gave him the 1 year, $7 million, right? Is he going to get another deal like that? He's talented enough for it. So there's no way you're going to be able to keep both these linebackers. I don't know if you're going to be able to keep one. And if you start trying to bring in somebody like a Connor Williams, you start trying to have the conversation of, can we keep Connor Williams? You can kind of, you can see how big the problem is getting, right? So the reason why I bring this up is to get people to understand that, yes, the Seahawks can make moves right now. They can trade for this guy. They can sign that guy. You might be giving up on one of these players that you really want for next year if you do that, because that money is going to be pulled out of next year's cap space. Because remember, cap space rolls over. And what the Seahawks are probably wanting to do is let their cap space roll over from this year to next year so they have more stuff to play with in 2025 so they can keep a Tyrell Dodson, keep a Connor Williams, keep a Jerome Baker. Not all of them, obviously, but I'm saying like one of them. And the other part of this, and I've already spent a little bit of time talking about this, but let's talk about it broader. What about the guys who are going to want extensions next year on deals that are on their final year? I mean, we've been through this, right? If you are a good player in the NFL, you don't want to play on the last year of your contract. You don't. Nobody wants to play on the final year of their NFL contract. Some players have to because they're not good enough to demand an extension. But if you are an NFL player that is worth something, you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure you never have to play on the final year of a deal, because you can negotiate your way to an extension and give yourself that long-term security because you're worth something. So, granted, some of these extensions, if we did them, would free up cap space because their last year of contract cap hits are so big, but some of them won't. And you're going to have to make some decisions here. So what decisions are you making on these guys? I can tell you right now that Geno Smith's going to want an extension next offseason, and we're probably going to have to do something there, whether it's give the extension, trade him, cut him, something is going to have to happen. I don't think he plays on the last year of his deal unless he really doesn't play well the rest of the year and he doesn't have leverage. And at that point, wouldn't you just cut him, right? Like, if he doesn't play well, why would you want to bring him back? So, one way or the other, you're going to have to do something. I don't think he's playing on the last year of his deal. Same with DK Metcalf. You're definitely going to have to do something there. And I think the team's already decided they're going to extend him no matter what. That's why we restructured his deal, because we know we're going to do something. But one way or the other, you're going to have to extend him or trade him, or he's not going to play on the last year of his deal. There's no reason that he would ever want to do that, and I wouldn't expect him to. And he shouldn't have to. He's playing really good football right now. He deserves his extension. He deserves to be one of the highest paid players at his position. So, got to do something there. So, those two guys right then and there, maybe the extension frees up some cap space. But you're also going to be marrying yourself long term to those guys. So, that's going to affect cap space in years beyond that. 2026, 2027, 2028. You're going to start thinking about that. Draymond Jones, like I said, I think he's gone in this upcoming offseason. I don't think you'd extend him, right? He hasn't played well enough for that. Like Draymond Jones, if he actually wanted an extension at the end of the year, I think you'd probably laugh in his face and close the door. But he is entering the last year of his deal next year. Tyler Lockett, I don't think there's much of a conversation to have. I think he is going to be a cut or release or retiree or however you want to put it this offseason. I think we're already starting to migrate towards that. Noah Fant, hard to imagine that he wants an extension, and hard to imagine he produces enough to warrant an extension. Although it is worth noting that he will be in the last year of his deal next year. Maybe something has to happen there. You've got Rayshon Jenkins. If he plays well this year, he might end up being kind of what Uchenna Nwosu was 2 years ago, where Nwosu signed the 2-year deal, played really well, so instead of making him play out the second year of his deal, we extended him. I think it's unlikely because of the age, but don't be surprised, don't be shocked if something happens there. Because safeties can play for a long time. And if they think Rayshon Jenkins is bringing something really positive to the table, they might get in front of that and just say, we're going to give you a couple more years because you earned it. And it's that system that the Seahawks use, where they give you the 2-year deal, and then they reward you with the extension if the first year of the 2-year deal is good. Same with, and it's kind of the same logic that could happen in theory with Noah Fant. Even though I think Fant's probably gone. I don't think Fant's going to get rewarded like that because the production won't be there. Charles Cross, we already know the extension's probably coming there, and we will not be saving money there, I don't think. Not really anyway. Like, Cross is going to get his 4th-year extension, I think, before any kind of, 5th-year option and franchise tag stuff can come into play. We're going to get that done ASAP. George Fant, I mean, he's hurt, so there's really nothing to talk about there. He probably needs to retire. Dixon's probably getting taken care of, right? We got to take care of Dixon. He's playing at that level. I think Dixon gets taken care of next offseason, last year of his deal. We don't make him play on the last year of his deal. We take care of that. Boye Mafe, real chance he gets extended, right? He's not going to want to play on the 4th year of a deal that's only paying him a few million bucks. Ken Walker could be an interesting, how should I put this? Decision tree there. I don't know what we're going to do, but it wouldn't shock me if he decides to make a little bit of noise about not wanting to play on the 4th year of his rookie deal. What do you do there? And any extension is not going to be saving money. Abe Lucas, we don't really have to worry about. Kobe Bryant, not really worried about that. Sam Howell, not worried about that. Woolen, though, I mean, if Woolen has a brain in his head, he's going to push for that extension next offseason. And if he doesn't get it, I don't think he's playing. So you got to do something there. Drake Young, whatever. And then you got some of the RFAs at the very back end. Drake Thomas, Jake Bobo, Chris Stoll. So those guys can't ask for extensions. We don't have to worry about that. A lot of these guys we don't have to really think about. Like Kobe Bryant's not asking for an extension with 1 year left on his deal. But I just want you guys to understand how much we're looking at coming up soon here, right? A lot of these guys are going to want longer contracts in this upcoming offseason. Some of them may not get it. Some of them may know that they're in no position to bargain for one. But believe me, Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, I don't think they're playing without a new contract unless they just start playing really, really bad, in which case, again, do you even want them? Charles Cross, not playing without an extension, or it's going to be hell to get him out there if he doesn't get his extension. Mafe could be the same. Walker could be the same. Woolen could be the same. So this is what is coming for the Seahawks in 2025's offseason. So think about that when you think about committing more money right now. And I know that people are excited about this current Seahawks team, what's going on in the 2024 season so far. But this is also a marathon. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And this is the stuff that you're going to have to take care of sooner rather than later. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think.